process in which, for example, in the in the ninth century, at the end of the Caliphate of Rashid, his eldest son, who was all Arab, purely Arab, he was gay and actually had his lover living in the palace with him. And of course, he did have a son that happened because for dynastic purposes. But that was something that took a lot of trickery to make happen. But then the other thing is that Ibn Nuwas, for example, was along that same time period. And he's a known Islamic Persian poet who talked about him having sexual relationships with both men and women. So I think that we have this throughout history where individuals have talked about it. Shams and Rumi and Shams. Although people try to say that it's a heterosexual situation, I disagree because most of his love poetry is towards men, towards Shams. And so it's nothing that people can't love each other, but I think that from the terms and the metaphors within his language, there definitely was a sexual relationship going there.
So these people inspire you and show you and other LGBTIQ Muslims that you can be Muslim and gay, and it's not a choice between Islam and sexuality, but you can live as both.
That's correct. And then also, too, the Ottoman Empire in 1858, just to bring it closer to the common era, they decriminalized homosexuality from Sharia. So it just shows that it had no valid validity, it had no valid reason to be there under the meanings and the understanding of Islamic scholars of the time. So just because something's on the book doesn't mean that they use it. Here in America, they have anti-sodomy laws that are still on the book, but they're not enforced. So just because it's there in writing doesn't mean it was implemented in the modern day context.
Fine. And of course, it's Ramadan now. It's the period of Ramadan. What kind of message do you think these holy days have for both tolerance and for LGBTI people?
Well, I think that Ramadan, for human consumption, has always been a time for reflection, a time for review, and a time for celebration. And so it combines all three of them. And for LGBT people, it also offers them an opportunity, if they're in a place where there are others that they know of, for them to share their full selves in their religious practices that they may have hidden in the past among co-religionists. And so it allows them to be their full selves before their creator. And they always tend to leave it feeling very, very good about it. So I think that's what what it does for us, is it allows us to come closer to Allah in the way in which we think we want to be, and to feel the reflection and the import of being at peace and in good stead with our Creator.
Great. And one final thing about the way that you feel this has been hijacked, this issue of connecting the Omar Mateen to Islam and portraying it as some Islamic terrorism. Do you want to say something about how this is being used in the media and in American politics, and even here in the UK it's been used?
Can you say that again, because the phone rings? Just run that by me again. I'm sorry.
That's fine. The whole politicization of Omar Mateen being so-called a Muslim terrorist or Islamic extremist, as the media wants to call it, both here in the UK and in the US even more. What do you have to say about this kind of political footballing with this image?
Well, demonization is never good, no matter who's doing it towards someone else. And so I think the real issue is, again, them trying to sell newspapers to the general public. And the best way to do that is to titillate their fears. And I think this is exactly what it does. And it also plays into some governmental frameworks that allows them to continue to want to build armament to protect us from those particular people over there. Yet the very same Americans here who are buying into that don't see that the government officials and others, corporation stuff are trying to steal their money from them, coin by coin, their Social Security, removing that, taking away their social net, all these different types of things, which is money, but it's the thing that makes human life better. And they're continuing to promote that we should be doing things to make sure we can take away human life. So it's a contradiction in terms of the honesty of the journalists. We're not in Walter Cronkite days anymore, And so, but it calls into question, and I think there are some young people who are doing so on the social media, but it calls into question sometimes the corporate news media that they're playing into the process and by demonizing the other.
Of course, there was almost no mention in the media about this white, non-Islamic man who was on his way to shoot people in LA Pride, and that somehow got totally lost in the reporting.
Absolutely, it gets lost in the white sauce.
Okay, Daayiee. Well, thank you very much for your time and for your insight. And I'm sure our readers will be very interested to hear your views and comment.
Okay. Well, you take care.
Thank you.
All right.